Okay, apron on, and let's do some cooking. Today I have for you 3 delicious cucumber recipes, as I very much think it's an underappreciated vegetable, or is it fruit? Not too sure. It's usually thrown into a salad without too much thought when it's got so much to give. We're starting off with a fragrant smashed cucumber salad with some Asian influence in there. It is really delicious and refreshing. Then we're going down the Mediterranean route. We're making an amazing salad where you just throw everything into a jar, give it a shake, and you've got a really quick lunch. And then we're going to make pan con pepino. Yes, pepino is the Spanish word for cucumber. It's a very cute name. And this is of course inspired by pan con tomate, just of course with cucumber. We're going to grate the cucumber, squeeze out the moisture so it's really nice and concentrated in flavor. And we're going to serve it on some sourdough with a tofu cream cheese. It's going to be incredible. So we'll start off with the smashed cucumber salad. If you are new here, my name is George and I've been a chef for at least 10 years. And I love sharing delicious plant-based cooking and recipe videos. So stick around if you are new and let's get into this. So I've got 2 nice little baby cucumbers here. I'm just gonna chop off the ends here. Now smashing these cucumbers, it can be a little bit messy. So I think I'm going to do a sort of slow motion smash instead. You would not believe how expensive these mini cucumbers were. I ordered them with my veg box and I was thinking I'd get like 4 or 5 of them. But for £2.75, I got 2 baby cucumbers. So that is $3.65. And yeah, so we need to make sure we treat them with some respect. To be fair, if I tried to grow some cucumbers, they'd probably get eaten by slugs or something, or would be absolutely tiny. So can't complain too much. So like I said, we're gonna do a slow motion sort of crush or smash. So just put your knife on the cucumber and push down like so. And the reason we do this is it creates these really nice jagged edges on the cucumber, which are going to sort of soak up the dressing really nicely. Whereas if you just slice the cucumber, the dressing just sort of slides off. So now we can do a nice sort of rough chop into very randomly sized pieces. You don't have to be precise or in any way. Optional bonus step is to lightly salt the cucumber, just about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. And we'll mix that through and we'll leave it for 5 to 10 minutes and it's going to extract lots of the moisture which will drain away. We'll then pat the cucumber dry and it's just going to keep it really lovely and crisp. So while we're leaving those cucumbers, we're going to make a quick dressing, starting with some light soy sauce. Let's go for 2 teaspoons, I reckon. That's going to add a really nice depth of flavor and saltiness. Then for acidity, I'm going for some rice wine vinegar. Let's go for an equal quantity. 2 teaspoons. Next, you want something sweet. You can either do maple syrup or I'm going to add mirin, just 1 teaspoon. Mirin is sweet Japanese rice wine. It's not particularly alcoholic, but it's got a lovely sort of tang and sweetness to it. Next up, some lovely toasted sesame oil. If you want to add a little spice, you can add some chili, or you could add some chili crisp. That would be really nice. Then we're just going to zest in some fresh ginger. Add a nice fragrant, fiery kick. Sometimes it's easy to forget that ginger is actually quite sort of spicy and hot, which is going to be lovely with these refreshing cucumbers. And I'm also going to zest in 1 garlic clove. For some crunch and nutty flavor, I've just dry roasted some cashews in the air fryer. You could also use sesame seeds, peanuts, or sunflower seeds. It's up to you. Just go for a tablespoon or 2 of them. We're also going to add in some spring onions, or scallions, or green onions, whatever you fancy calling them. Just going to finely chop them. And this is all you should be leaving, not like 1 inch of the spring onion, like I see some people doing. No wastage. Also going in with a small pinch of white pepper. Szechuan pepper could be a really nice option as well. I don't have any, sadly. Does anyone else end up with too much ginger and it just going a little bit sort of rubbery almost? You can just freeze the ginger whole and then you can grate it directly into your dish. That is a great tip. I'm going to do that right now. Perfect. Okay, so these cucumbers have been sitting for, I'd say about 10 minutes, and we're just going to let that water drain off. Whoa, camera nearly just slid off. These baby cucumbers, they don't have quite as much moisture as the sort of large English cucumbers. And then I'm just going to lightly pat them dry. Don't have to get all the moisture out of them. Just a nice sort of extra step to get really nice and crunchy cucumber. Okay, and then you can add your cucumber into your jar. You can just do this in a bowl as well if you wanted to. It's just quite fun doing it in a jar. And we're simply going to give it a good shake up. Get the cucumber coated in that dressing. The ginger, the garlic, the chili. And then either you can eat it straight out of the jar or you can put it into a dish. That's up to you. Make sure to get all that dressing on there. And there you have a fragrant, umami, and nutty smashed cucumber salad. Yes. The cucumber has stayed super crunchy. This dish is a great one for testing your flavor balancing skills, as we've got the salty and umami flavor from the soy sauce, acidity and brightness from the rice wine vinegar. We've then got sweetness and a bit of tanginess from the mirin. What else? We've got the toasty flavor from the sesame oil, but also the cashews. So lots going on here, but if you balance it right, it is truly delicious. One thing to note is that if you're not going to eat this straight away, maybe you're going to eat it the next day, then don't add in the cashews. Keep them in a container on the countertop and you can sprinkle them on just before you're going to eat it. If you do put them in the fridge, then they are just going to go sort of soft and not particularly crunchy. Hello everyone, just a quick one. To celebrate reaching 50,000 subscribers here on the Earthy Goodness Kitchen, I'm offering 50% off your first month of membership on my Patreon page. What is Patreon, you ask? Well, it's a site where you can support creators while also receiving various different benefits. For example, if you sign up for a membership on my page, you'll get a recipe PDF every 3 months with all the recipes that I've been cooking on YouTube. You'll also get a bonus cooking video and recipe every week. This could be an episode of Bean Around the World, where I'm exploring all the delicious bean dishes that the world has to offer. Or it could be an episode of Seasonal Stars, where I'm showcasing delicious seasonal produce in some amazing dishes. You'll also get access to the Earthy Goodness Kitchen group chat, where we share all things food. This could be recipes, pictures of dishes we've recently cooked, or maybe a new food product that we've found. And you'll be helping me in creating these videos and recipes that I really hope you love. I understand that times are very tough financially at the moment, so the first month will be just £2 or $2.70. And if you're not happy, you can always just cancel it. It is totally up to you. So to scan this QR code, or there'll be a link in the description box, and I look forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye. Okay, on to our next dish. We're going to make an amazing Mediterranean-inspired creamy cucumber and pasta salad. We're going to start this recipe in a jar once again. You could also use a Tupperware if you wanted to. And we're going to make an amazing sort of creamy Greek-style dressing. So start with a few tablespoons of a vegan yogurt. This is a soy-based one. I'm then going to add in some lemon zest. For some reason, I cut this lemon in half before zesting it, which is never a good idea. In goes the juice. That just sprayed everywhere. And I'm also going to add in some red wine vinegar. Lemon's going to add that sort of citrusy and bright flavor, and then the red wine vinegar is going to add more of a sort of depth of flavor. Small drizzle of olive oil, that's optional though. Then back to the zester, I'm just going to go in with 1 small clove of garlic, as it is going to be raw, and zesting makes it the most sort of pungent in flavor, so I wouldn't add a large clove. And then 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, and some salt and pepper. Not too much salt, as we are going to be adding in some olives. Okay, so that is the dressing done. A little shake around, don't have to go crazy. We'll give it a good shake once we've added in all the other ingredients. So I've got one of my favorite pastas here, and it is orzo. I used to call it rasta because I thought it was like a combination of rice and pasta. It's pasta, but it's shaped like rice. I'd recommend using cold pasta rather than hot. I find hot pasta just absorbs all the dressing and makes it quite stodgy, whereas cold pasta stays light and fresh. Yeah, that's all good. I actually cooked this pasta yesterday for our dinner, so it's nice and cool now. Oh, that's perfect. Enjoy. I'm not sure I'm going to use all of this, as we've still got a few more ingredients to go in. Let's see how that looks. Actually, yeah, I reckon that can all fit. I would say there's two ways to get dressings or sauces to stick to cucumber. Either smashing it like we did in the first recipe, or you can thinly slice it on a mandolin. You want the cucumber really thin so the dressing almost goes in between the layers of the cucumber. Make sure to use a handguard or some cut-proof gloves if you are going to use a mandolin. I don't have either, but I'm just going to be very careful. Don't follow my example. Don't worry if you can't get it this thin. Just do your best job with your knife or a mandolin if you have one. I've also got some beautiful cherry tomatoes that have been ripening on the windowsill. So we'll just do a few of these. Pick out the ripest ones. And we're simply going to cut these in half, or quarters if you want. You could also use sun-dried tomatoes. This jar is getting rather full. Maybe it was slightly too much pasta. And then you can either add some finely sliced red onion, or I'm just going to do a really fine chop on this onion. I'm only adding a small amount as I'm not a huge fan of the raw onion flavor. But when cut up really small, I do quite enjoy it. So it's up to you how much you want to add. You could also add pickled red onion, which would be really lovely. Next up, we've got some olives. I typically use some Kalamata ones, but they were really expensive. So I've got these Hoji Blanca. I'm not sure I've said that right, probably not, but let's give them a taste. These are green olives. Those are really good actually. Juicy, tangy, nice sort of meaty texture. And I'm just going to thinly slice these. And that'll add lots of flavor into this salad. You could add some of the olive brine as well if you wanted to. Okay, this jar is fit to burst, but we're just going to try and fit in one more ingredient, or two more ingredients even. And that is some finely chopped parsley and mint. As always, bunching them up makes it so much easier to finely chop them. Okay, this is one loaded jar. Let's see if we can give it a good shake and get everything nice and coated in that dressing. Okay, here we go. Once again, you can eat it straight out of the jar or you can serve it up. This is a great lunch to take to work. Oh yes, that looks good. And it looks like it's actually fairly well mixed. And there is your Mediterranean-inspired cucumber and orzo salad packed with goodness and flavor. So I've actually just had this for my lunch with a little extra protein on the side, and it was absolutely delicious, but I'll give it a try on camera. I think this is the sort of salad that's going to get better as you leave it in the fridge overnight. Just like with the smashed cucumber salad, you've got loads of flavors and textures going on here. First you get the sort of tangy yogurt, then the freshness from the lemon juice. Next up, salty and juicy olives, sweet cherry tomatoes, and then you get a really big hit of fresh herbs, the mint and the parsley. This is really delicious, perfect for meal prep. Have it along some tofu or another protein choice, and you've got a delicious meal. Enjoy. It is absolutely roasting. So we've come to Poppy's favorite little pool. That's better, isn't it? Okay, next up we're making pan con pepino, or cucumber on toast, which may sound quite strange, but I promise you it is absolutely delicious and I'm sure you're going to love it. For this next recipe, I'm just going to use a classic English cucumber, which me and Poppy have already started to enjoy. I think we're going to use about a half cucumber, and then we're going to cut it lengthways and remove the seeds. Just get yourself a teaspoon and just run it down the seeds, really nice and easy. This one doesn't actually have too many seeds, which is nice. And then grab yourself a grater and we're just going to grate the cucumber. Being careful of your fingers, of course. And then you can just pop this cucumber into a sieve. And just like with the Asian salad, we're going to mix in some salt and just leave it here for 10-15 minutes And then we'll squeeze out the liquid and have a nice concentrated cucumber. That's not going to make our toast all soggy. And now we'll get on with the tofu cream cheese. So for the cream cheese sort of replacement, we're going to make a nice tofu cream, starting with some firm tofu. I'm only making a small amount for this recipe. A little vegan yogurt adds a nice sort of tang and creaminess. A squeeze of lemon. Optionally, a little olive oil. It's just going to give it a nice luxurious mouthfeel. Granulated garlic. And then of course, some nutritional yeast for that cheesy flavor. Crack of black pepper. And then a little white miso helps with the seasoning and also that sort of cheesy, tangy flavor. And that is it, super simple. I may need to add some water to help it blend, but you don't want to make it too thin, so we'll see how we get on. The cucumber has been sitting for around 10 minutes, so I'm just going to give it a good old squeeze and get out as much liquid as possible. You'll then have some quite salty cucumber water, probably not great for a drink, but I may just give it to the plants. To the cucumber, I'm going to add some fresh herbs. I'm just going to go for some mint here, but you could add some basil, parsley, chives. It's totally up to you. I'm also going to go in with some lemon zest. Make it really nice and bright and citrusy. Some black pepper. And that is it. We'll just give that a mix and it's ready for our toast. It smells beautifully fragrant. Let's give this tofu cream a taste. If I can get it open. Oh, going to the gym has been paying off. That is really nice. It's cheesy, it's tangy, it's bright, and it's perfectly creamy. I didn't end up adding any water. Since I was using firm and not extra firm tofu, it does have some water in it. Lovely and creamy. You could also use extra firm tofu for a thicker sort of cream cheese alternative. And now all that's left to do is toast some bread. I'm actually going to fry some homemade sourdough in some olive oil to be extra fancy. This is 50% wholemeal, 50% white sourdough. And then for a finishing touch, a little sprinkle of sea salt. And then I've cut a garlic clove in half. I'm just going to brush that on. That's going to be delicious. The rough edges of the bread will almost grate the garlic into it. So good. Start with a thin layer of that tofu cream cheese. Then the herby and zesty cucumber. A few of these smaller mint leaves to garnish. And then a little wedge of lime to squeeze over before you tuck in. And optionally, if you want, you can do a little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Just a small drizzle. Beautiful. And there you have pan con pepino with a tofu cream cheese on olive oil toasted sourdough that's been brushed with that lovely garlic. Okay, let's give this a go. Looks incredible. I went a bit fancy on the presentation. Who could have thought that cucumber on toast could taste this good? First, you get a beautifully crunchy sourdough with just a hint of garlic. Then you move into that creamy tofu with the savory nutritional yeast. And finally, the fresh, zesty, and minty cucumber, which isn't watery at all. It's just kind of juicy and flavorsome. Really, really delicious. This is the perfect summer lunch or dinner, or even breakfast actually. And if you meal prep maybe the tofu cream cheese, it won't take long to make.